Alex, Greg, Z, let me know when we're ready. Thank you, Alex.
Okay, and
Recording in progress.
I now call to order the committee meeting for the Township of Chatham this Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. Mr. LeConte, has adequate notice been given?
yes, adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act as follows. Notice was given to the Chatham Courier and Morris County Daily Record on January 8th, 2025. Notice was posted on the bulletin board in the main hallway of the municipal building on January 8th, 2025. And notice was filed with the Township Clerk on January 8th, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. LeConte. May I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Alperowitz?
Here.
Mrs. Ewald?
Here.
Mr. McHugh?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Rowland is out of town, and Mayor Choi.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. I now ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In tonight's agenda, we're making investments in mission-critical infrastructure and services, namely sewage, utility, and public safety. We are recognizing and celebrating our volunteer emergency personnel, and we are doing the little behind-the-scenes things that make delivering municipal services seamless and professional. On the matter of infrastructure investments, this evening we are taking action to prepare investments in our infrastructure through multiple capital ordinances. We are committing $570,000 in our sewer utility to ensure ongoing services and make preparations for significant, much-needed investments in the plant in years to come. We're also preparing for a $1.8 million bond to invest in equipment for our fire and police departments and in our municipal assets utilized by, among others, our public works. With the procurement of $60,000 state grant, we are enhancing our recreational spaces, specifically Nashfield, to continue to provide safe and modernized places for our residents to enjoy. On the matter of public safety, I previously mentioned our police department's organizational changes to optimize personnel in order to continue delivering a high level of service. This evening, I also want to recognize and elevate our volunteers in our Green Village and Chatham Township fire departments in our Chatham Emergency Squad for the Length of Service Award Program, otherwise known as LOSAP, which is a New Jersey benefit program that makes financial contributions to eligible volunteer emergency service personnel. It is Emergency Medical Services Week, EMS Week, and I want to take an additional moment to specifically thank the members of our Chatham Emergency Squad for all that they do, providing round-the-clock service and delivering the highest level of care and professionalism to the members of our community. We are also introducing an ordinance to comply with New Jersey law and ensure operational readiness in the event of a large-scale crisis or emergency. Our local emergency management committee, otherwise known as LEMC, will draw from a rich and diverse set of skills and knowledge to provide clarity and direction for our community members should the need ever arise. Our police, fire, emergency services, government, schools, houses of worship, and residents at large are all represented. I've shared in prior meetings that the fourth round of affordable housing is underway. Late last year, the state prescribed a process for establishing housing obligations for the township, as well as key deadlines and filings which must be submitted along the way. The township presented a straightforward, cogent filing for reduction in housing obligation numbers. The New Jersey Builders Association, however, took action to challenge the township's filing, along with more than 150 other municipalities' filings. I will say that the easy choice for the committee was to have summarily accepted the state's preliminary numbers. But the decision by this committee was to scrutinize and lower the obligation to more accurately reflect the development reality and restraints of the township, and to do so, fully abiding by the state's rules for making such a challenge. A week ago, the New Jersey Superior Court ruled in favor of the township. This is most welcome news. It is a testament to diligence, conviction in our work, and advocating for our community. I humbly thank our professionals, Kendra Lely, our affordable housing planner, Jessica Almeida, our affordable housing attorney, for delivering a compelling argument before the judge. And I thank the members of this committee, Ziad Shahadi, our administrator, Joe Bazralian, Tiana Cafoni, our township attorney, for doing the work. Crunching numbers, critically thinking through risks and rewards, and reviewing a multitude of documents to take informed action that I believe is embraced by our constituents and ultimately was validated in a court of law. Thank you. We now move on to committee reports. May I start over to my right, Committeeman McHugh?
Thank you, Mayor. We're going to do a little abbreviated, or shorter version than I usually come to tonight with. But first thing on the library, let's start with. There was, and Mayor, you may want to retouch on this, the Library Volunteer of the Year was Ms. Marion Economo, and she was honored by both Mayor Dempsey and Mayor Choi last week, I believe, and that's some pretty exciting news for her, and congratulations. In addition, great congratulations to all that were throughout the town in submitting and donating books, etc., because the Friends ended up with a donation for the book sale of $46,832, which was presented to the library, which is a great number, and it's used for library programming for all ages. Moving on to the Chatham Township Environmental Commission. Tomorrow, as it turns out, around 5 o'clock, there's a ribbon cutting ceremony for the Grove project that's been undergone with the planting of trees. If you've been out to Shunpike Field, you'll notice there's some fencing around some tiny little trees, and they survived the winter. They're all turning green, and that's some good news. And even better news, we had the opportunity to put a few more trees out last weekend as well. So that's some exciting news, and watch them grow. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you, Committeeman. Committeewoman Ewald.
Thank you. My reports are a little quiet today, but I do want to highlight for the Senior Center next Friday, June 6th. They will have their 35th anniversary party celebration and fundraiser, beers and cheers to 35 years, and they will be honoring their long-term former board president, Jim Connolly, who is an active volunteer on many of the committees throughout the township, the Environmental Commission, the Events Committee, the Chatham Township Fire Department Board. He's very active, so I hope a lot of residents come out to support the Senior Center, but also to thank Jim Connolly for all of his service to the community. And that's everything that I have for today.
Thank you, Committeewoman. Committeeman Alperowitz.
Thank you, Mayor. As the Mayor mentioned, this week is EMS week, so you'll see signs throughout Chatham Township and Chatham Borough thanking the members of the Chatham Emergency Squad who provide excellent care to residents and visitors of the Chatham Township. Every year we nominate, we collectively, I think you all know, I'm an active member on the squad, one member who has kind of risen above all the rest, and this year Sue Novak, who's a long-term member of the emergency squad, is being honored as the EMT of the year, and local area hospitals are I guess showering us with gifts in the form of cookies and snacks when we drop off patients to the hospital. So it's really lovely for them to recognize our services as well as paramedics who do an outstanding job. The other news on the emergency squad is, in case you haven't heard, the new building is open for business. It is a spectacular venue for training as well as our readiness to respond. I'm sure the members of the emergency squad and the senior personnel will abide by that and inform you of even more. Special thanks to the Chatham Township Fire Department who housed one of our ambulances for the better part of 2+ years and allowed us to still respond to calls in the township. And the Emergency Squad is having an open house on June 1st for all the residents of Chatham Township and Chatham Borough and everyone else to come see for themselves the beautiful building that is there and standing, and ice cream will be provided by Scoops if you need another incentive. The Green Village Fire Department is having a Memorial Day flag raising ceremony at 8:30 this Monday for Memorial Day on the lawn at Memorial Way, promptly at 8:30. So please arrive if you do plan to go. And they also reported that it was a busy month, reporting to 2 structure fires in Harding this past month as well too. I won't provide an update to the Green Village, to the Chatham Township Fire Department, as our chief is visible here tonight, and I fully expect him to provide all of the updates as he does. But he has given a very thorough report of the amazing work that both that his department and all of its members do for our town, which is truly, truly amazing. That's all I have.
Thank you, Committeeman. Since our last committee meeting, I did want to make a couple of acknowledgements. Towards the end of April, a number of families had organized the Holy Festival, which marks the start of spring, otherwise known as the Festival of Colors. About 60 families in Chatham Township organized at Myersville to celebrate the event. A number of members of the committee here were there, along with Borough Mayor Dempsey. It was a spectacular event, very Instagrammable, and I think there was some coverage in the local newspapers as well. Bailey's Warriors Fun Run just occurred this past Sunday, and marks a fun run that's held annually at Cougar Field in honor of Bailey Buell, a Chatham resident. Residents came out in strong support, including a number of members of the Chatham Girls Lacrosse team. Funds that are raised from the fun run go to support pediatric cancer research. So a wonderful event that is near and dear to a number of members here in the community. Looking forward, Jamie Panera 5K Run is upcoming Saturday, June 7th. If you haven't already done so, please do register and participate in this wonderful event. The Jamie Panera Foundation is the organization that organizes it. It was established in memory of Jamie Panera, a young teacher and Chatham resident. The foundation raises funds through an annual K event inspired by Jamie's athletic interests to provide scholarships for students from a charter school in Newark. Since 2015, the foundation has awarded 38 scholarships supporting students at various prestigious schools. The scholarships ranging anywhere between $4,000 and $8,000 annually, and it's also awards the Jamie Panera Award to graduating seniors interested in education or mathematics. Again, Saturday, June 7th. If you haven't already done so, please do register and participate. It's a 9 a.m. Fun run start, 9:30 start for the 5K race. There will be DJ music and refreshments throughout the event, and plenty of cheering to encourage all the runners. Girl Scouts, earlier this month, we celebrated several achievements with regard to Gold and Silver Award. I would like to give special recognition for a Gold Award, Ayana Ball, Megan Carey, Alessa Cooney, Ava DeGigio, Juliana King, Sophia Smith, and Natalie Yasekovich. For Silver Award, Sophia Lovato, Ruthie McGrath, Margaret Joyce Greta, and Leadane Hillman. That's it for committee reports. We now move on to the first hearing of citizens. Mr. LeConte, could you kindly provide guidance for the first and second hearing of citizens?
Members of the public are now welcome to come up to the microphone to address the Township Committee. This is an opportunity for any member of the public to be heard about issues which are not scheduled for public hearings tonight. Those present may step up to the microphone to be heard. If you're watching via Zoom, you may speak during any of the public comment sessions by following the Zoom instructions to raise your hand. Whether in person or online, when you are recognized to speak, please mind the following procedures. Please say your name, spell your last name, and give the name of your street. You do not need to give your street number. All public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Rather than use any of your time answering questions, the Township Committee will wait until you finish speaking before responding. There are 2 public comment sessions on tonight's agenda. Each member of the public will be limited to one comment of up to 3 minutes during each public comment period. Written comments submitted to the township clerk before 3 p.m. today will be read during the public comment sessions. Written comments are subject to the same guidelines as oral comments, and duplicative written comments may be summarized rather than read in full, according to guidelines issued by the New Jersey Division of Local Government Services. And Mayor, we do not receive any written comments.
Thank you, Mr. LeConte. Do we have anyone online?
We do not have any hands raised on Zoom.
Thank you. I now invite any member in the audience to come forth before the microphone, should they desire to do so.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the Township Committee, Mr. LeConte, Council. My name is John Mills. I'm a lawyer in Morristown, New Jersey. I am the attorney for Mr. and Mrs. Werner Gebert, who reside at 17 Britton Road in Chatham Township. Mr. LeConte is kindly placing in front of you a packet of photos that I have that represent a timeline. I was going to attempt to be funny and say that, you know, Charles Dickens wrote A Tale of Two Cities, and I'm here to tell you a tale of two photos, but then I realized it's actually 6 photos instead of 2. In any event, the Geberts and their family have resided at the home at 17 Britton Road for at least since 1947, and in some instances, parts of the family since 1928. The property has the misfortune of sharing a backyard, a common lot line, with property identified as 425 Green Village Road. The photos before you are a timeline. The first photo, hopefully, is dated 2002, which shows a status of the property, the backyard specifically of 425 Green Village Road, at or about that time, 2002. The subsequent photos are dated 2024, one of them, and then the subsequent 2 color photos are 2024, which I abstracted from Google Earth, thanks to them. The black and white photos were photos provided to me by Mr. Gebert, seated here to my right. Your right as well, I guess, and are dated from 2022. The significance of this is that when Chatham adopted it had a master plan in 1940 and adopted a zoning ordinance, as far as I can tell, in 1943, I believe. But in any event, ever since that time, from the 40s, the property at 425 Green Village Road has been zoned residential and is so zoned today. We accept that there has been a level of pre-existing non-conforming use on that property, specifically a small construction business and some sort of soil recycling business, since prior to a time that dates back prior to Chatham Township adopting a zoning ordinance, which would obviously render that limited use a pre-existing non-conforming use. The objection that has caused Mr. and Mrs. Gebert to retain counsel and come to you is that that use has creeped in an unacceptable fashion. I'm sorry? Oh, that's 3 minutes?
Mr. LeConte, unless there are objections from the committee, I feel obliged to certainly offer an extension in time.
Yep.
Okay. Please continue.
Thank you. It's not a long spiel.
Understood.
In any event, the photos show the rear of the property at 425 Green Village becoming, in my opinion, unlawfully, illegally, if that's the right phraseology, containing an expansion of this use. The black and white photos show the use to consist of the stockpiling of soil, tree stumps, the mounding of dirt. I don't know if it's being imported or exported, but there is heavy equipment being used to move the soil around and to refine it. So the Geberts are subjected to the smell of diesel, the sound of this equipment, the unsightliness of these piles, not so much now with the foliage out, but in the stark of winter, it's terrible. The unsightliness of the piles of mounded waste that are clearly being used for a commercial purpose, inconsistent with the R1 zoning ordinance that is applicable to this property. And I say to you that it's just not right. And you're saying that, you would say, why am I here? I'm here to ask this body to task the zoning officer with the job of going back to that property, assuming he's been there already, which we've been told, of 425 Green Village Road, and examining what in heaven's name is going on in the backyard. I don't know if it's a soil recycling business, if they're storing soil, if they're selling soil, but in any event, the historical use is much restricted to the very front portion of that property, not significantly down in the rear of the property, which, by the way, abuts the Great Swamp. And it is for that reason that I appear before you asking that this body at least commission an investigation of the activities that I believe to be contrary to your zoning ordinance that are taking place on this property. And Mr. Gebert and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. Appreciate. I do have a cursory understanding of it, but if I may lean on Mr. Shoddy and Ms. Cafoni, if, to the extent you have further history or background on the
Sure.
matter.
I don't think, though, that there's a lot of information. I know our attorney has been corresponding with Mr. Mills, so I think the best thing to do is accept their comments, and our attorney will respond to Mr. Mills at another time, either by correspondence, because you
Yep.
have been corresponding.
Yep, we'll formally respond, and take a look at the photos that they've provided and consult with the zoning officer.
Thank you. And please do keep the committee apprised.
Will do.
Thank you. If there's no one else in the audience who would like to come before the microphone, I shall then close. Oh, that's right. Sorry, Chief. Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor, Township Committee. My name is James Sacadato. I am the Chief of the Chatham Township Fire Department. I just wanted to share a little bit about our Fire Department report, annual report, or not annual, but the report for this year thus far. Greg is going ahead and distributing copies for your viewing purposes. This report entails the activities of the Chatham Township Fire Department from January 2025 to May 2025. From the time of writing, we've responded to 118 calls for service, 2 of which have been residential structure fires. High hazard evaluating and a standby of our water rescue team also occurred during the recent flash flood warnings. Our department has been completing training and professional certifications in basic, intermediate, and advanced level firefighting and rescue disciplines, including search and rescue, which is also known as SAR, for non-fire related missing persons, which could be especially helpful for the Township of Chatham. This report also addresses the membership recruitment and retention concerns we are facing along with the rest of the nation. Projects such as our radio upgrade and purchasing of our new ladder truck to help, thanks to the help and support of the Township Administrator and the Township Committee. Lastly, within this report, it's proposed that the Township start a township-wide campaign informing the public to not feel embarrassed to call the fire department for any issues they have, and is created. Any issue they have is created along with further education of the use of the 911 system. Just to kind of breeze through this so I don't waste anybody's time here. But just an overview of our fire department. You know, the Chatham Township Fire Department is stays steadfast to provide the highest quality of care to the residents of the Township of Chatham with highly skilled individuals 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Our hardworking and committed membership always upholds the highest standards of professionalism and traditions within the fire service. Each member exemplifies our mission, vision, and values. It's through these values our membership always stays sharp and up for any task. Last year, we responded to 375 calls for service, which marked our busiest year in the department's history, not including a major storm or hurricane coming through. Again, we've responded to 118 calls for service this year so far, whereas about this point we were at 125, so we're on pace for another busy year. As stated before, our most notable calls for the year so far were 2 mutual aid responses into New Providence for residential structure fires, one of which was an exterior attack due to the incident commander deeming that the building was too unsafe for anybody to enter. While our units were operating at that structure fire, the building did have a partial collapse to it. On the notable events, as I said before in the executive summary, on May 14th, while the rainstorms persisted, the Chatham Township Fire Department made preparations for potential flash flooding in our area. With increased traffic on Bridge Ave and Central Ave, our fire officers continuously evaluated possible threats of flooding, which may have caused motorists to become stuck in their vehicles with water cresting the river. Our water rescue team was ready and prepared to respond to any and all water emergencies. One thing I would like to address, if the committee will allow it, is some of our training that we've been doing this year. Obviously, responding to emergencies are a major concern. But one of the other priorities that we have is always ensuring that we are well-equipped and highly trained at what we do on a daily basis. We've been fortunate enough to be sending our firefighters ranging anywhere from the Firefighter 1 and Fire 2 basic certification courses to specialized training courses such as Ice Rescue Technician, Advanced Ice Rescue Technician, Rapid Intervention, also known as RIT, Safety and Survival Training, Elevator Emergencies Technician, with the addition of the previously mentioned Search and Rescue. This one is particularly special because this course is the command level course to manage and start the coordinating efforts for missing people. Whether it's a lost hiker in the Great Swamp, a missing special needs child, or an elderly or dementia patient that has gone missing. We are also pursuing here in June an advanced hydrant operations at large-scale incidents and an officer development program later in the year to ensure that our fire department is always ready and highly skilled and trained. One other notable thing I would like to address, which again is mostly to your hard work and your credit, is that we worked on last year to replace our grossly outdated radios with new state-of-the-art technology that will not only serve our department for many years, but also keep our members safe during emergency operations. We are extraordinarily grateful for the Township Administrator and Township Committee for the support, for supporting this effort and understanding our operational concerns. We are pleased to say that these new radios have been in service for some time now, and all members have seen the benefit of having more reliable and capable radios that will only enhance our operational readiness and situational awareness. Another large-scale project that is the replacement of Ladder 12 with a new ladder truck. We are pleased to announce that the new ladder truck is underway and that this piece of apparatus will greatly increase the effectiveness of the Chatham Township Fire Department's operational capability. This new Ladder 12 is going to be a modern take on the former Ladder 12 with a higher ability to carry more ground ladders equipped with a 100-foot aerial device. And due to its nature of being a quint, which is a piece of apparatus that can have fire suppression like a engine company, but also have all of the ground ladders and aerial ladders and would be assigned to search and rescue efforts and be assigned to ventilation. It's critically important to understand that this piece of apparatus, because it is also a suppression piece, will greatly enhance, just like our older one, will also greatly enhance the township's safety, considering that we have 2 suppression pieces on both ends of our stations. The last thing I want to, or 2 more things, I'm sorry, I don't mean to take up your time. One thing I really wanted to mention here was our membership concerns. I'm very pleased and proud of the hardworking men and women of the Chatham Township Fire Department. This department is truly made up of the most dedicated, well-trained firefighters, and I could not be prouder of that. However, we are facing recruitment and retention issues, just like most volunteer fire departments throughout the country. Unfortunately, but fortunately, the members we are losing are not for anything negative, but for rather new job or school opportunities, most of which are in other states. While I am thrilled that this department can serve as a catalyst for our members to make this into a career, unfortunately, our members who have been fortunate enough to become career firefighters are doing so in other departments, most of which, again, are out of state. This leads me to my next point of recruitment. Our membership committee is hard at work developing new and innovative ways to recruit new and potential members for our fire department. Unfortunately, volunteerism is on a downward trajectory, not only just in Chatham Township, but throughout the entire country. The fire service is starting to see more and more volunteer fire departments close their doors because of the staffing issue. And some of them have been going to either daytime paid staff or full-blown career staff to supplement the membership issues. I do not believe that we are at the point in Chatham Township, but we are concerned that at some point we might be looking at an issue. I would like to propose that we start to have a dialogue with the township and strategize to come up with ways and ideas in order to get more people interested in joining and serving their community, just like we have been doing for almost 100 years this coming October. The last 2 initiatives I would ask is we would like to push a campaign to the residents of Chatham Township, no matter how small the issue or whatever the issue may be, to not be afraid or embarrassed to call the fire department to help and assist. Countless times, I personally have explained to residents, or I've had residents explain to me that they feel bad for calling us, that they didn't want to make a big deal out of something. Myself and my fire officers always explain that there is never a problem, that it's never a problem, and this is exactly what we are here for. No issue is too small or too big to handle. It's our job and our responsibility as professional firefighters to respond to any and all emergencies. And while we try to explain this to them, another initiative that we'd like to ask is that we try to educate our residents that should they need the fire department for any reason, to utilize the 911 system. Often we have residents calling the firehouses since they do not believe that 911 is the appropriate use for their issue. As you know, we do not staff our firehouses, and we would hate to have our residents' concerns go unanswered because they didn't feel comfortable dialing 911. Maybe a township-wide committee or campaign will help residents within Chatham Township understand that 911 is to be used for at any time. Often my line that I say to residents that feel this way is as follows. If you smell something you shouldn't, see something you shouldn't, or hear something you shouldn't, call 911. And when it comes to a carbon monoxide detector, always call, because carbon monoxide, again, is odorless, colorless, and tasteless. We want to ensure that everyone is safe and never afraid to get the help that they need. My closing remarks, I would like to take a moment and again thank the Township Administrator, the Township Committee, for always providing the support to our fire department. Without it, we as an organization would not be where we are today. I cannot overstate how proud I am of the men and women of the Chatham Township Fire Department, and it is a great honor to be the chief of such an incredible and strong organization. I value the responsibility placed upon me, and I, along with this fire department, will do everything within our power to provide only the highest level of care, compassion, and operational effectiveness every day, no matter the incident or hazards presented to us. Thank you for your time.
Chief Sagadato, thank you very much. Appreciate coming to the meeting. I have some comments, but if there's
Yeah.
anyone else, yeah,
I
please.
don't want to jump
Sure we
ahead.
all do.
Please.
You know, I had mentioned to the chief that we ran into friends whose, their son, who happens to be my son's hockey buddy, just started as a professional firefighter down in Woodbridge, and they were talking about, you know, all the training that he had to take, and all the things he had to do, and he loved what he was doing, and he was thrilled to be a part of this fire department. But then we had a conversation about a funeral that they went to for a firefighter, 53, who had helped at Ground Zero and died from illness related to providing that assistance. So, and here we have a volunteer fire department. I mean, it's just amazing to me that they would volunteer, you know, in a situation that puts themselves at risk. And believe me, that mom was, you know, concerned about her son becoming a professional firefighter. So we know it's taxing on the families as well. So I appreciate everything all of you do, your volunteerism. I don't think what I just said might encourage people to join, but I know it's an amazing group of people, and you know, the Chatham Township residents do appreciate everything you do. And I encourage everybody certainly to support our fire departments as well.
Thank you, committee woman.
Yeah, thank you for coming today, tonight, Chief. I know you didn't come here to receive any praise for yourself, but I would like to mention that I know how hard it is to spend all that time, that effort, keeping the pager on 24/7 by your bed when you sleep, jumping up in the middle of the night, going to a call, doing all the things that you do 24/7, but it does take an extra level of commitment to be in the shoes that you're in, to keep everybody safe and to follow every protocol and to know all of those details. Yourself and your lieutenants and everybody that supports you is that extra sort of step. The one thing I would add, I guess, for anyone that's listening is that we all join these kinds of volunteer organizations because we want to make a difference. We really do. And I think we go into it so aggressively, and what we realize, what we get out of it is so much more than we could ever put into it. So it's always not a big deal for any of us that put on a uniform to respond to a 911 call. So to your point, I'm sure the other members of our first responders will gladly support that initiative as well in a joint effort, because I can't tell you how many patients we interact that felt embarrassed to call 911, didn't want to go to the hospital but still wanted to call 911, and also just thought their carbon monoxide detector was defective and there's no reason to call 911, which is what ends up keeping us all there. So there's a lot that I think that the joint services can probably bring to the table together, so I certainly welcome it. But thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for all you do, all of your brave men and women, and indeed to Committeewoman's Ewald's comments. Chatham Township is so lucky to have a group of volunteer fire departments, 2 of them, and emergency services that respond to every single call that's asked of them. It's truly amazing.
Thank you. I will say, over the course of looking at organizations, particularly in the context of an industry where you are, in fact, as you mentioned earlier, Chief, a number of departments are struggling or closing outright, to see the department continuing steadfastly in providing really a stellar level of service, I think is exemplified by the leadership and culture that's there. From what I can gather, speaking to a number of firefighters who come to community events and do their part in making themselves a part of the community and the activities that are being organized, I'll talk to them, and Committeeman and I had the pleasure of seeing the station and walking it. It is a vibrant, really disciplined, professional culture organization there, and I think that's a reflection on your leadership, Chief. So hats off to you, and I thank you and every firefighter serving for your continued service. So thank you very much. One last point, Chief. In the spirit of assisting whatever capacity we can, if there are any events or anything you would like to be broadcast out, please do bring it to any member of the committee. We'll be sure to use this platform as a way to augment communications, any events, fundraisers, or any announcements, any piece of information they feel newsworthy that you want to get out to the broader audience. Please do forward it to one of us, and we'd be delighted to broadcast that out richly. Thank you, Chief. I shall now close the first hearing of citizens. We'll move on to public hearing and final adoption of ordinances. We have one ordinance this evening, ordinance 2025-11, amending police department structure. Mr. Shahadi, if you kindly give a briefing.
This ordinance follows a few meetings at which it's been discussed at introduction and workshop, and what it does is it covers, it accommodates requests by the chief to restructure our police department, so that way there is a special services sergeant that would be in charge, and updates our ordinance to reflect the addition of a police officer that several years ago had been added to our table of organization, but the ordinance was never updated to reflect that.
Thank you, Mr. Shahadi. Yeah, I've said it in prior meetings, but I think it's yet another example of Chief Miller's sound leadership, always scrutinizing the organization and the operations, and with the primary objective is always maintaining a high level of service, and in conjunction to that, being mindful of operating costs. So thank you, Chief, for your continued good work and service. I shall now open up a public hearing for ordinance 2025-11, amending police department structure. Mr. LeConte? No answers. Okay. I see no one in the audience coming before the microphone, so I shall close the public hearing for ordinance 2025-11, amending police department structure. I now seek a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Great.
Second.
Thank you, Committeeman. Mr. LeConte? Yeah, so now open up the discussion to the committee. Great.
And
Roll call.
Mr. Earl Perowitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
and Mayor Choi.
Yes.
Motion passes, the ordinance is adopted.
Thank you, Mr. LeConte. On to resolutions. We have a single resolution this evening. Resolution 2025-114, amending capital budget. Mr. Shahadi, if you kindly provide an overview.
Yes, Mayor. So this resolution is an annual resolution we do. What it does is amends the capital budget that was included in the operating budget, which you adopted earlier this year. The capital budget in the operating budget functions as a template, but also a roadmap for 6 years ahead. The framework of that is still to be developed when you introduce and consider the operating budget, and then after we're done with that, once we know what our capital improvement fund looks like and really what our debt obligations look like, then we amend that capital budget after further review with the Finance Committee and fine-tune it to exact figures and specifics, and also what those funding sources are. So the resolution before you today reflects the capital plan that you received in your agenda. And that capital plan is what then feeds the 3 ordinances that we will be discussing later this evening as well. This was reviewed by the Finance Committee as both part of the operating budget process, and then also after that, the special meeting that we had on capital. Nothing in here is particularly surprising. It's all, for the most part, items that we anticipated in previous years as part of the excellent work that the department had to do in projecting. The few changes that did occur, Green Village Fire Department swapped out the purchase of an apparatus for funding for a change order that they talked to you about earlier this year. And then there were maybe one or two other requests that were reduced by department heads, and as, you know, we get closer to it, we update those quotes from the vendors to make sure that we are not, you know, under budgeting because of tariffs or supply chain issues or any other pricing changes. So that's what you have before you tonight in this resolution, is to amend the capital budget to reflect those items, and then the ordinances to follow will authorize the capital outlay for those.
Thank you, Mr. Shahadi. I now seek a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-114, amending capital budget.
I move to adopt Resolution 2025-114, which amended the capital budget.
And I will second that.
Thank you. I now open up for discussion amongst the committee.
I mean, I think we had discussed, I don't think there was any surprises on the list of items that are, you know, and a lot of it is basic stuff that we normally, you know, the roads, the police cars, equipment for the fire department. So I think everything seemed reasonable. Yeah, and I was comfortable with what was presented. There's no surprises.
The only addition,
Yeah.
I apologize, I will add is funding for the Red Brick Schoolhouse. That's the only addition. It's in here, it's included in all this, but I mean, it's the only addition from previous years. It was not incorporated into the 6-year projections. That's because they were working on estimates for us, and they got that in time for this year's capital plan.
Great, thank you. I would also note the audible that we had to make in connection with the Green Village fire. That was a nice piece of trying to accommodate the needs, and obviously the the ceaseless challenge of dealing with escalating costs for equipment, materials, and whatnot. So hats off to you, Mr. Shahadi, for accommodating the Green Village Fire Department and making that work for them and also for our capital budget. So thank you.
It was also nice just to mention that there's a significant chunk, I think it's like a third, that's being funded through the capital account. I can't, it's not really the operating budget, but in other words, we're not taking on debt in order to fund that portion of it, which I think is very good. So in that respect, there's been some sound planning and fiscal, you know, effective fiscal management. So I appreciate everyone's efforts.
If there's no one else, I shall close discussion and take it to a vote. Mr. LeConte.
Mr. Alperowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mr. McHugh?
Yes.
And Mayor Choi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. LeConte. On to introduction of ordinances. We have several this evening. First up is ordinance 2025-12, amending LEMC, Local Emergency Management Committee. Mr. Shahadi, could you kindly provide a briefing?
Yes, Mayor. As was discussed at the workshop meetings, this is largely a housekeeping ordinance amendment. There was some language in here that needed to be modified to reflect state statute and the state's administrative code, which we did, but the significant changes separate from that reflect some comments from the Public Safety Committee, which includes the composition, revisions to the composition of the Local Emergency Management Council, so that way we can incorporate a member of the Public Safety Committee into this LEMC.
Thank you, Mr. Shahadi. I now seek a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-12, amending LEMC.
So moved.
Well, second.
Thank you. I shall now open up for discussion amongst the committee.
Yeah, nothing new to report. We've discussed it multiple times. I think this is a important and good addition. So, thank you.
Yes, mandated by New Jersey state law, and I think there's some modifications made, still being compliant with law, and I think it's a multidisciplinary, well-rounded group of folks on that committee who will be at the ready in the event, hopefully it never does, but in the event the need arises to mobilize the committee. So I thank Mr. Shahadi and Chief Miller for collaborating to make it happen. Thank you very much. If there's nothing else, I shall close discussion and take it to a vote. Mr. LeConte?
Mr. Alperowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mr. McHugh?
Yes.
And Mayor Choi.
Yes.
Motion passes and public hearing will be on June 24th.
Thank you, Mr. LaConte. Next up is ordinance 2025-13, multi-purpose bond ordinance. Mr. Shoddy?
Thank you, Mayor. If I may, I will speak on the three ordinances together, if that's okay.
Fair enough. So
Since they-
ordinance 2025-13, 2025-14, and 2025-15.
Yes, should not replace you taking individual action on them, but just since they all are part and parcel. As I mentioned with respect to the resolution that we adopted earlier sets and amends the capital plan to reflect the specifics for 2025's capital needs. These ordinances now make those authorizations. So what that means is through 2025-13, that is approximately $1.8 million in capital expenditures that will be authorized upon adoption of this ordinance. Of that $1.8 million, approximately 500 and some change, 500,000 and some change is coming out of our capital improvement fund, which means that that is reducing the amount that we would need to borrow, as Committeewoman Ewald said, almost a third of that. The rest of it is, as you alluded to in your opening remarks, largely public safety expenditures for police department and our fire departments, not just in terms of vehicles and apparatus, but also things like the self-contained breathing apparatus, radios, communication equipment. There are some other items in here, as I mentioned, the Red Brick Schoolhouse. It is municipally owned property that is really an aging structure that needs significant upkeep and maintenance, and so we're appropriating some money into that thanks to the volunteers of the Historical Society who put that together, and our DPW, especially maintaining the vehicles that help maintain the roads, especially with snow and other issues, and our parks and our fields. Those represent a smaller portion of this expenditure, but nevertheless they are important. There's, I would say, no unnecessary expenditures here, and so as we go through the purchases, they're not automatically do they get funded, but when we need them, we will finance them in order to make sure that we are not paying interest on things that don't need it. That's for 13, which is for general municipal matters that fall under operating and current fund. The other two are items that would come out of the sewer utility. So 2025-14 is $320,000 to do the work that we've discussed with respect to upgrades at the plant that are necessary. Those are all items that will be coming out of the sewer utilities capital improvement fund. So that's $320,000 appropriated from the sewer utility to make this work. Things like a compressor at the plant, trying to remove some asbestos at the plant that does exist, and we want to get ahead of it before it becomes an issue. Some comminution equipment, that's what they call the grinder, that's what grinds the material coming into the plant, and refurbishing some pumps as well. This all ensures that residents who are connected to our sewer system have a sewer utility that will continue to operate with minimal downtime, which if there was any issues would drive up operating costs, cause some emergencies, and potentially cause catastrophic issues into their homes. And then the third one is going to be borrowed money. That is 2025-15, and that is for soft cost. When we say soft cost, that's really for our professionals. So that is for engineering professionals to begin the preliminary engineering and design work for the major, nearly $7 million worth of work that needs to happen at the water pollution control plant. What we're looking to do, and it was discussed at the workshop meeting by our engineer, Mr. Rushke, is make an application to the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank. That is how we would finance that amount of money, but in order to borrow it from them, they require a lot of technical details in advance. So this $250,000 appropriation authorization in 2025-15 allows Mr. Rushke and his team to start that work. So that way, later on, we can make application to the iBank. That will require another capital authorization, but that will probably come later this year or early next year.
Thank you, Mr. Shahadi.
And the benefit of the iBank is really much lower interest rates than we would get on conventional market.
Yeah, almost effectively zero, close to it.
Close to. There's some of it's zero.
Hyper-competitive
yes,
rates
correct.
relative to the free market. Before I seek a motion, Mr. LaConte, I looked at two different versions of the agenda. I have a typo on number 4 ordinance. It should read 2025-15, not 2024. Just to ensure we've got full
Yes, that
accuracy there.
Should be a 5.
Great. With that, I now seek a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-13, multi-purpose bond ordinance.
So moved?
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Great. Open up for discussion, if any. I will close discussion and take it to a vote. Mr. LeConte?
Mr. Alperowitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
and Mayor Choi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Public hearing on June 24th.
Great, thank you. So with that, I will now seek a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-14.
So moved.
Second?
I now open up for discussion. I will close for discussion, take it to a vote. Mr. LeConte?
Mr. Alperowitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
and Mayor Choi.
Yes.
Public hearing on June 24th, motion having passed.
Thank you. And finally, I seek a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-15, sewer utility bond ordinance.
Second.
So moved.
I'll second.
Great. Open up for discussion. I will close. Mr. LeConte?
Mr. Alperowitz,
Yes.
and Mrs. Ewald,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
and Mayor Choi.
Yes.
Motion passes. Public hearing on June 24th.
Thank you.
I guess I just wanted to, sometimes if residents watch these things and they hear no discussion when we're spending millions of dollars, I just want to make clear, first of all, Mr. Shaddy gave a great explanation, but also these things are discussed in prior meetings. So this is basically the culmination of weeks of going through, what the needs are, and plus the Finance Committee, going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. So I didn't want anybody to think that we're taking this lightly in any way, shape, or form.
That's a shout out for the public to start watching our workshop meetings.
Well, in conjunction, I think during the last workshop, Mr. Rushke was before the committee to speak, certainly in reference to a number of these things, especially the sewer utility bond ordinance, the work related to that. So I shall now move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that a member of the committee would like to carve out? If not, I then seek a motion to approve consent agenda, resolutions 2025-115 through resolution 2025-122.
So moved?
I'll second.
Mr. LeConte?
Mr. Alperowitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald,
Yes.
Mr. McHugh,
Yes.
Mayor Choi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. LeConte. On to the non-consent agenda item, a single resolution, which is resolution 2025-123, LoSAP eligibility.
Normally, this would have been on the consent agenda, but Mr. Alperowitz had already indicated he had to recuse.
Yeah, so it's clear to everybody in this room. My name is on the list of recipients, and I therefore will abstain from this vote, which doesn't take away from my overwhelmingly high support of the LoSAP program and everyone that has achieved it on the Green Village Fire Department, the Chatham Township Fire Department, and the Chatham Emergency Squad.
Well, thank you, Committeeman. Mr. Shoddy, if you could kindly provide a brief overview on the length of service.
Sure. So LoSAP stands for Length of Service Award Program. These are programs that municipalities can adopt in an effort to reward and recognize the service of volunteers. They are required to be created by ordinance through a referendum process, which has happened here in Chatham, so the programs do exist. And every year we receive a report from each department, the fire departments and the emergency management squad, indicating those members that have qualified for LoSAP by meeting the criteria and accruing the requisite number of points in order to get a contribution from the municipality. So it almost acts like a small, kind of like a retirement pension fund almost, but it's not. It's a savings account that does accrue interest, and It's a small reward and a thank you for our volunteers for all the work that they put in, and certainly a cost savings when compared to running a paid fire department or paid EMS squad. So this is just a drop in the bucket, but extremely important for us to do.
Thank you, Mr. Shoddy.
And we usually wait until after the adoption of the budget to do it. That's why, you know, it comes around this time of year. And so that's what's before you is that report, and then so we can make those contributions to the eligible members.
Thank you. I now seek a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-123, LoSAP eligibility.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. I now open up to for discussion amongst committee.
I guess I just wanted to say thank you to Committeeman Alperowitz,
Yes.
but also to
Thank you.
all the members of our Chatham Township Fire Department, our Green Village Fire Department, and our emergency squad for all their efforts, their volunteerism. I did want to highlight, on top of all the great work of the fire department, the emergency squad, the new structure. You know, they volunteer to be on an emergency squad, and they expect to respond to emergency situations, and that's where their passion is and how they want to help the community. And then they turn around and guess what? They're fundraising for a new building and thinking about architectural drawings and thinking about what the needs and requirements are, and they did an amazing job. I mean, the facility is just state of the art, and I think it'll help to attract volunteers in the future. So help to ensure the sustainability of that, that group, that organization. So, I thank all of our volunteers that have above and beyond earned that LoSAP award for their efforts.
My only other comment would be that it's an extensive list, and it's across multiple disciplines, all of which I think is illustrative of the robust level of service and volunteerism here in the township. So I thank you all who are on that list for your longstanding service, and I wish you continued success individually and with the organization. There's
Yeah.
nothing else? Oh, sorry, Committeeman.
Sorry, just for education purposes, there's on the emergency squad particularly, we do have quite a number of members. This is a small fraction of the people that actually qualify for length of service award program based on the time and the commitment that they put in, the shifts that they do, the extracurricular activities, the training, all of the different things that happen. And each department, the fire departments, have their own list of criteria to do that. So not every single member that is on the departments qualify for this. Only those that really put in kind of that above and beyond time commitment to serve the community. So as if you needed another reason.
Certainly special distinction, right? Yes. So I shall now close discussion and take it to a vote. Mr. LeConte?
Mr. Alperowitz?
I will abstain, thank you. Yeah.
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mr. McHugh?
Yes.
And Mayor Choi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. LeConte. We now move on to the second hearing of citizens. Mr. Conti has provided guidance for the first and second hearing of citizens, so I now ask Mr. LeConte if you could kindly acknowledge if there's anyone, written statements or anyone online.
Yes, we do have one hand raised. Mr. Carr?
Hi, this is Stuart Carr from 3 Crestwood Drive in Chatham Township, New Jersey. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Couple of items. One, I just read some notes from April 8 meeting. I've been out of town, out of touch a little bit. Mr. Alperowitz's comment about bringing in new business on the fly comments. I didn't see the tape of the back and forth with him and Ms. Ewald, but I think conceptually the idea of bringing in stuff on the fly is not a bad idea because no action can be taken. And if, Mr. Alperowitz or XYZ, Mr. or Mrs. decides that there's something of import that has to, they think is important to bring up and, it doesn't go through the full process or whatever. I think that's something that should be considered. I know Ms. Ewald talked about a balancing act, but I think leaning toward the idea of having more information up front at the risk of it not being on the agenda, since there's no, action item, I think that's a good idea. But that's not why I'm calling. But anyway, thank you for that, Mr. Alperowitz. That's a good thought. See if it goes anywhere. Number two, again, haven't done any homework, so I apologize. I saw the 158 or whatever the number is, 158, 141 dynamic. I saw the information Ms. Ewald was speaking to about unmet need and all that type of thing. Was there any discussion at the April meeting when you had the summary discussion about the fourth round about what the realistic development potential is at this point? I didn't see anything on that. We got the full number, we got the unmet need versus the RDP. Is there anything, and if, again, I apologize if I missed it, but where is that in the process at this point, please?
Is that it?
Yes, it is, and thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Carr.
Did you want to take a stab at it, or you want me to take a stab at explaining? Because we did it, we talked about it through planning board, so.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cut and dry. Although I'm thinking of the numbers and I might mess it up. So the realistic development potential, which is based on conducting a vacant land adjustment, comes out to be 4 units. But I believe we only need to build 3 because we get a credit. So, so right now, the planning board has to review that because they will approve the fair share and housing element plan. So they have to approve that, so they're reviewing it, and that's where this was discussed. And then there will be an unmet need of the balance, which I guess would be the 137, and that would be addressed through an overlay zone. And we're looking at the area over by the ShopRite Center and Ace Hardware. That area is being reviewed for an overlay zone. That's how we would meet that requirement. And that's pretty much the highlights.
And that information will be reviewed, and documents covering that particular topic will be made available, I believe, on the website, right, for the public to access at the upcoming planning board meeting.
Correct,
The workshop.
And I believe our planner did also present that here at either a workshop or a regular meeting. So it was presented to the public here and at the planning board, and will be again reviewed at, I think, the June, I can tell you right now, the June 16th planning board meeting, I believe. And that's when they will, as committee woman you will mention, and then we will be reviewing it at our June 24th Township Committee meeting for endorsement.
Now, I'm sorry, I was still thinking about what I was saying. Did you ask if is it posted? Did we post the latest?
Not yet. We were waiting for the numbers to be confirmed by the court.
Okay.
And so our planner is finalizing the housing element fair share plan in a draft form, and that draft will be put on the website.
Okay, great.
So what we've gone over publicly was her presentation here, but now she's gonna put it into the housing element fair share plan as a draft document, and that's what will be posted to the website. I think last time we spoke with her, she was anticipating hopefully having that by the end of this month.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and, sorry. Yeah, just very quickly, certainly want to, feel it appropriate to respond to Mr. Carr's earlier point about notion of new business. An item for consideration that was brought forth by Committeeman Alperowitz. He and I had discussions along with the administrator in the past, and we've looked at how we might be able to incorporate it and how, the uses of it. I did also take the liberty of speaking with a couple other mayors to get an understanding of how other agendas are crafted and how other meetings are run. It was the opinion at this point that there is certainly generous opportunity for each member to speak on his or her behalf with regard to items that are on his or her plate. We've got committee reports, and we certainly have an open dialogue, open channels of communication before we get on the dais and after dais. So we felt that, I felt that certainly is something that we probably will consider at a later time. But at this point, believe the agenda as it's run today is is adequate and satisfactory. So you'll certainly continue to monitor it if things change, but that's certainly the position at this point that we're going to take. But thank you for the input, and know that every suggestion and opinion is taken into consideration and given appropriate weighty consideration.
Yeah, just to add, I guess, just in case anyone is out there wondering if my needs were met or not met, and the mayor has kind of spoken for me. I appreciate all of the work that the mayor did, who gave me some pretty good rationale behind the changing of the agenda in order to incorporate this, where I felt that pretty much every instance where I've had a need, the mayor has listened, responded, added where appropriate to the agenda at this time. This wasn't driven by any particular issue currently, and I do feel like all of my needs are met and there are ample opportunities for me to speak. That said, I do think that there was possibly a consideration where rather than adding it to the agenda, we talked about perhaps during a workshop there was one further opportunity. Does anyone have anything more to say kind of thing, which is up to the discretion of the mayor to add or not add, and I respect his decision either way on that. And that's kind of where we left it.
Thank you, Committeeman. Thank you, Mr. Carr. Do we have anyone else? Great. So I shall now close the second hearing of citizens. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.